All right, what it do? What it do? Damn, it gets hot as hell, man. I'm already sweating here, man. Damn. Welcome to another one for Al Cuerpo Boxing to the Body. So let's get with it. Let's talk some boxing. Damn, I don't know. My screen looks so dim. It's on the sun, bright. This bright sunlight. I thought these iPhones are supposed to have like a pretty good contrast response, but it's hard for me to even see the screen here. Let me see if it's full fast. All right. Shit, I don't even know if this is on Wi-Fi or 5G. Anyways, welcome to another one for Al Cuerpo Boxing to the Body. So I wanted to do a quick video on Zepeda versus Lamont Roach. I just did this video in Spanish, but might as well do one in English. Um, I like this fight, guys, and I apologize because the first time that I heard about this fight, I thought it was more like rumor. I don't know about so much of if it was official, or even if I thought I did think it was official. I didn't think much about the style, guys, the style. And so, anyways, I'm here now looking at it, and I think this is actually one of the most underrated and fresh fights in the game right now. We all know Lamont Roach's circumstances, right? By the way, these two have like similar opponents. I think the last similar opponent they fought was Rene Alvarado, if I'm not mistaken. Some Alvarado cat. And then, of course, Lamont Roach, he lost to Jamal Herring back in the day. He did fight, obviously, Pitbull Cruz, and then he fought, well, I just say, and then he fought Gervonta Davis before Pitbull Cruz. But that's the firepower that this William Zepeda, El Camarón Cepeda is going to have to go against in this upcoming fight. Okay. And then, of course, William Cepeda with his good wins against Devin Farmer, even though some thought the first fight was controversial, but, it is what it is. Devin Farmer beat the southpaw. Very similar style to Lamont Roach as far as like countering and timing, right? Because that's the type of fighters they're going to be. And then I think the firepower experience that Cepeda had with Jojo Diaz, right? Because Jojo Diaz is an interesting gauge, man, because Jojo Diaz went 12 with Regis Prograis, and then Regis Prograis recently went 12 with Conor Ben, even though I say that was an off night for Conor Ben. But let's say if it's not. Let's say if it's not. Let's gauge that firepower in between all these guys, right? We got Jojo Diaz that can go 12 with power punches, though he got beaten by Cepeda. We got power punches like Pitbull Cruz, Gervonta Davis, right? I don't know so much about Tevin Farmer, obviously not Tevin Farmer in that mix, but Zepeda, Southpaw against Orthodox fighter Lamont Roach. How do you guys have this one? Right now, in my previous video prediction I did in Spanish, I said it's a 50-50 fight, man. I have this one a 50-50 fight. But again, it's fresh because we want to see really different styles, man. Lamont Roach is obviously the calculated counter puncher, and he's got power on both hands. He's nice. He's nice. He's sound boxer, man, without a doubt. Especially his performance against Tank Davis. And technically on paper, I think he beat Tank Davis because that knockdown alone, if they counted that, he technically wins by decision, no matter what. There's no other way you can see it, right? Had they counted that or I should say the drop that the Gervonta Davis said, right? I forgot how do you call that, man. Just taking a knee, whatever. Point deduction that. And so then we got William Zepeda, of course. William Zepeda, his best performance, what, 3 or 4 rounds against Shakur Stevenson, taking him to the ropes. The thing is, I don't think you can take Lamont Roach to the ropes the way he did with Shakur Stevenson, because I think Shakur Stevenson, by design, wanted to do that against Zepeda to counter. They both like to counter, but different styles, of course, right? We got Stevenson, the Saudi, and Roach, the Orthodox. And I just don't see that happening. I think Lamont Roach would stand more of his ground and fight than to do more of a retreating type of game the way Shakur Stevenson did against William Zepeda. But I like that fight a lot. I like William Zepeda versus Shakur Stevenson. That was a good fight. I gained a lot of respect for Shakur Stevenson in that particular fight. And it's just me, but I thought he won. He lost 4 or 3 rounds, man, in that fight, without a doubt, against Zepeda. So, anyways, man, and then again, Tevin Farmer, sorry, who many said that was a controversial fight in the first fight against Zepeda, right? And then of course Zepeda won the second one. Some fans were like theorizing because of the drug testing or whatnot, but let's just focus on the countering, man, the countering. So William Zepeda's got to be very careful in this fight, man. Be very careful in this fight because a lot of times, even when when he lunges this nice jab, I like Cepeda a lot because he's kind of like I like his style. I can relate to his style because originally I'm Orthodox myself, but I like Southpaw more. And yeah, you do have more of a strong right hand because of that. And we can see that with Zepeda. I mean, with Zepeda, they had a nice jab, and that shit knocked down, or knocked down it, but it pushed back Stevenson to the ropes effortlessly too. By the way, so maybe that might have some sort of success against Lamont Roach, and the way Lamont Roach likes to cover up with his guard a lot, because that might push him back a bit. That might translate well to the judges, but I just think Lamont Roach is a lot more smarter than Tevin Farmer, man, without a doubt, without a doubt. And he's got to be careful not to get clipped in that counter, as Tevin Farmer dropped William Cepeda, right? So again, as William Cepeda, he likes to lunge with that jab, or sometimes when he's just leaping forward with a body shot, he leaves himself open to counters on the top, man. And I think Lamont Roach, if they're doing their homework, that's one way to neutralize Cepeda. Even if it goes 12 rounds, if Zepeda can endure that type of firepower, those counters, it's not going to be good. It's not going to look good. And so that's Zepeda's thing. But one thing that we do like about Kamaru and Zepeda is one thing that's really good about William Zepeda is his cardio, man. That guy brings really good volume. It looks good to the judges. It's good for the fans, and it puts a lot of pressure on the opponent. So how is Roach going to handle all that aggression? How's he going to handle that volume? Right? Yeah, you can time in between the shots, but that onslaught of pressure, sometimes you can't focus. And the last time I remember this, and I always bring this fight up because I like unorthodox predictions, was the Maidana versus Mayweather fight. In that, when you're doing just unorthodox punching and you're fighting, it's gonna reset your opponent, or the calculated counterpuncher, a lot. It's gonna reset them a lot. So that's one thing that Cepeda has got for him in this Roach fight. Not even Pitbull Cruz could do that, because Pitbull Cruz focuses more on like on 1-2 power punching, right? Or than the top, or coming up with that left hook, just like slugging overhands. But because he's slower than Cepeda, it's not as effective as Cepeda could have on the points point of view. So right now, that's what Cepeda's got to watch, man. He's got to watch out for countering. Again, I think Roach got better pop than Devin Farmer. Some of you might debate that, but again, sometimes you just got to judge by the last performances. I know I'm how do you say, contradictory in saying that, because I've said the opposite before. But yeah, right now I think for me that's one of the freshest fights in the game, man. Cepeda versus Roach. I think you guys are gonna be very entertaining. The fans win, and I want you guys to theorize about the styles in that, man. Just imagine how Cepeda, what successes they need against Roach. What combination follow-ups does he need against Roach, when Roach is very clever on the inside, or even like by close distance, shelling up and blocking shots with his defense. Just think about that. And on the flip side of that, what does Roach got to do to have successful countering against Cepeda, because Cepeda is always going to be on the move, right? Is he better to fight on the outside and using a lot of footwork, or is he better just more stand his ground and play defense from the outside? Those are the questions, man. So again, this is one of the freshest fights in the game. It's going to drop down on August 1st of this year. And I'm waiting to see how they're gonna look a month from now in the gym, and how they're hitting the bag, how their speed looks on the mitts. I'm really curious about the speed and their physiques. I think Cepeda right now, he's growing more, so he's gonna be a lot heavier handed than he was before. Same thing goes for Lamont Roach, but I think if we were to apply the same thing to Roach, I think Roach's speed is gonna regress a bit. All right. So that's what I got for this one, man. I hope you guys tune in. We'll talk more about that one. But right now, Cepeda, El Camarón Cepeda versus Lamont Roach. That's a very underrated fight. That's a good fight for the fans. And so that's what I got right now. 50-50 right now. 50-50 right now. I'll catch you guys on the next one for Al Cuerpo Boxing to the Body. Peace out, y'all.